Hey.
Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome.
This is me doing a little bit of ASMR to start.
She's gone off script. Wait, what are you doing?
This is like things that people do when they're
They
like
take a cap of peanut butter?
when they show people things in the camera, they put their hand behind it. When they have items that they're unboxing, they put their nails on them when they're eating.
Ugh,
It's a whole thing.
horrible. But what's that? I don't get the...
It's to focus in on the object that you're showing to the camera. It's just a thing, bro.
She's more internet savvy than I am somehow. She came here with zero internet knowledge.
That's true.
And I lost all my internet knowledge by being here.
And you know what? That's the two directions we both need to go in. So.
I guess I don't even know what's going on anymore. She knows everything.
Alright, welcome to part 8 out of 12 of DLA Reversul Uf Fortunes. And we've really dug into that term and what it means, what it might not mean, how it's come into our lives here while in our service in the Day Life Army. And last time that we spoke here, we talked about this topic. The kind of topic of the video was abandonment within DLA's Reversul Uf Fortunes. And I often rewatch the videos we do or he does and kind of like glean what happens, because often when you like are talking in front of a camera, at least for me, I don't know about you, but like I go a little bit into a disassociative mode, or I change things and what I say and how I tell stories because I know I have an audience, and it just makes certain rackets louder than they would be in day-to-day life, perhaps, or just, you know, certain things happen. And when I was rewatching last video, I noticed, and it was pointed out to me as well, but when I rewatched it, I noticed it myself, that we talked about abandonment outside of like the context of how it was used in this army, not as a joke really, but like it was in a context that was like, yeah, it's something that was done consciously to like give us less attention or take away certain things to make us grow or be able to learn how to do the thing on our own, like in a not a facetious way, but in a bit of a like there was humor involved and a bit of an exaggeration or hyperbole. Terms like, oh, you guys are just getting abandoned, were used that in actuality are not like actual abandonment. Abandonment in like connotes that someone's like not thinking about things at all and doing things very like without care. Like abandonment means someone went to the store to get cigarettes and left you, or someone ghosted you or didn't tell you or communicate anything and just like left you on a hill, whatever. Like
left you on a hill.
Yeah.
Metaphorically or literally?
Both metaphorically and literally. I've never been literally left on a hill. But I just, like, when I looked back at how I used that term and the, like, story I was telling, a lot of things really I noticed that come up with me a lot and come up with us a lot within this army. It's like, I used that term without context in a way that made it seem a certain way because I'm operating still with some like unconscious kind of like resentments and self-victimizing tendencies. Like, to give you an example, when describing like the process of getting less attention or how we have been like helped to grow in certain ways here, like the whole shtick didn't really implicate our own actions and give context to that term and what it means and how things actually were, if that makes sense. So yeah, something like, does that make sense to you, the difference? I don't know if you remember how the like kind of story went last strong or whatever.
Yeah, I don't rewatch them. So
yeah, he doesn't. He's busy
I'm
guy.
just here. I'm here, in the present right now.
He doesn't go into the past that much, and I do. Typically, that's kind of. He's supposed to be going into the future more, and I'm looking into the past to find things and gems and treasures and figure out shit. So yeah, like it's kind of disrespectful to like. The ways that I'm disrespectful are like really subtle. Like white women are very nuanced with the disrespect because we've like honed it over millennia, not millennia, but a while, and
not millennia.
No, not thousands and thousands of years.
How long?
Probably like maybe 1,000 years. I don't know. I get a little mud flooded out, and I get a little unwieldy with my timelines.
So was there a time where white women were like perfectly attuned to nature and they were great?
No, I'm saying like there were a time when there weren't white women, capital W.
Well, if the Earth is like 5,000 years old, when did the whiteys show up? Probably pretty. Wasn't Noah's like one son black, one son was white, and one son was like Mexican or something?
Yeah, that's exactly how it went. Well, I'm just saying white people were kind of. Yeah, let's not go into that whole thing. The seeds and the bloodlines and whatnot. I'm just saying, like, white womanhood was cultivated. Let me leave it at that.
Okay.
And so, yeah, like, the disrespect cultivation, I really had it on fleek a little bit last time with, like, I don't know, disregarding, like, a lot of care that went into, like, this quote-unquote abandonment and like using that term, like wielding it kind of crazily to be like victimizing in our storyline, like, we had to deal with so much hardship or whatever, and it was hard, but it wasn't like it was a totally different thing than what abandonment actually is. So I wanted to like retouch on that because this idea of like kind of feeling resentment towards people who have, and we're talking about our cult feeders, General Koa, people who have brought you as far as you've gotten, like the ways that you've grown, taught you the things that have helped you grow. Like, it's a kind of a very common response, like a human response, to often like resent those people, perhaps especially if you come from like a bratty upbringing, which in different ways we both have. I'm just gonna say like a really simple way to describe that is like, I never got like any discipline growing up and was spoiled because my dad died and everyone like felt bad for me. On the other hand, this guy grew up in a gated community with parents who did not pull that bullshit, but were like, you had cars like in high school that you didn't pay for. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have our different areas of being spoiled.
Right, you got your mom's car?
Yeah, I didn't even get my mom's car until I was 25.
Okay.
So there's like different levels and types of spoiling going on just from the different types of people we are. But what I'm saying is generally, I feel like that was so shady the way you were like, oh, you just got your mom's car. Like, I'm not fucking saying that I'm not spoiled. Can you be like less offensive? Like, Jesus Christ. But so this type of person, us, we can be very resentful of people who are actually disciplining, bringing us like difficult tasks that we choose to do. Like, it's an interesting thing to like see how we take that information and take this kind of relationship with them, and the ways we can be disrespectful throughout the process that we're brought throughout the washing process, because this is all in the context of we're coming here, we're doing soul redemption ourselves, and we're helping other people through it as well, but we're doing it and we have the same feelings about it and things that are annoying to the people bringing us through it that we feel as we bring other people through it are really annoying to us. It's like all mirrors, etc., etc. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but want to go into that a little bit more, like that process? Maybe you have some personal experience with it?
Yeah, I mean, usually cult followers who have come here tend to take all of the things that, you know, were they learned from their cult feeders, and because the things that cause the most growth are often not easy and sometimes can be painful or cause growing pains or just, you know, be somewhat unpleasant in the beginning, as anyone who's ever grown knows. It's not an easy thing. We, rather than like recognizing the wins and the rewards that we got and the growth and like the benefits of that growth, we just remember the process and how painful it was and apply that to the people who, you know, gave us the things that made us grow, that may have hurt a little bit.
Did the work. So, and also, do we ever, like, when we've figured the thing out and we're, like, in our lives operating with the new way or information or whatever, do we, like, attribute it to where it came from?
Fuck no.
No,
it was time for that.
It becomes part of the ego. Like, the ego is so resilient. As soon as it's harvested and you're, like, stopping being vulnerable in the moment of the harvest, like, oh, this was really hard, thank you so much. As soon as the ego grows up back, the weeds grow up a little again, you're like, I actually did that all myself, fuck off, really? And then, like, when you talk to another person, you're like, yeah, I'm just amazing, because I, like, know this. No attribution, no where you got it, no humility, humbleness. Yeah, tried to combo those two words. So, like, and that perpetuates a fun cycle where if it gets too much in that direction, you're kind of humbled again, and it's just kind of repeats. So, yeah, like, this happens with us. We can recognize it once we're out of, like, the big unsober kind of middle of that process. Take a few steps back and be like, yeah, we do that. But it's super easy for us to see it in other people. When you're the person bringing the person through the, say that we go cut the path themselves through their relationship with their creator, the creator, then they bring us through the path and it's a little more cleared, and we do the whole process, we kick and scream and don't repay them with resentments and anger and whatever. Then we bring the people behind us through the even more cleared path, and they treat us the same way. And it's like a lesson of learning how to deal with the thing you gave off from another person. It's cute how Yahuwah organizes things in this world. It's cool.
It's cute, right?
It's real cute of him. So, just to give you an example, like, we have our own process that we go through when we kind of kick and scream through the thing and then deny where we got it, or like that we resent the process. But someone we're talking to, they're like spiraling on their way to a psych ward. This is like multiple people, or out of a psych ward, or towards a like schizophrenic break. Now, I don't want to get into like what schizophrenia
Not everyone we
is
talk
or
to
isn't.
is tangential to a psych ward. Just
That's
to let
true.
you know.
There have been a couple. It's kind of comes with the territory of operating on the edges of the pain matrix. People trying to get out of that matrix, you know. They'll wash belief with us, and as soon as they do, they'll immediately ground. This is like some examples. Everyone has different like details in the story, but the overall gist of the story, like the themes, are the same. They immediately ground. They immediately improve. They immediately get back in a relationship where they get sober, and they're kind of a bitch throughout the process, kind of needing to be dragged through it, but more amenable when things are going badly. Like, their ego's taken a hit, you know? They're more vulnerable in that way. Like, they're able to receive information. I don't know. They're able to it's easier to wash. And then immediately, as soon as the thing like rights itself and they're not feeling that vulnerability, they've gotten something, it's like they get cloud poisoned. They feel like they're on the top of the world. They don't need the thing that got them there. And in fact, that thing didn't get them there. It was them all along. They did it themselves. It's always been that way. Or it wasn't that bad. Like, as soon as they're out of crisis mode. So, and part of that is like, it's not so easy to want to keep growing and doing things and being pushed to grow when you're not in the crisis mode and it's not chaotic. And like going further requires more vulnerability and is harder than when you're just trying to right yourself from a crisis. So that's like, we've seen that a lot.
It's not all psych wards, but people just, will get sober. Like, they'll wash one time and then be like, for some reason, after I did that, I just stopped drinking for and I haven't drank for 6 weeks. Like, it has nothing, I don't know what it has to do to the thing. Oh, will I wash again and see what happens after that? No, I think I'm just good with that.
And the thing is,
imagine if $12 could get you sober. It's happened. But, then being like, that's it. I the rest of my money is for concert tickets or whatever. I'm not gonna invest in the thing that made like the biggest life change that I've experienced in the last whatever.
And the thing is, it totally makes sense to me because we have trouble believing in washing still, which is crazy because of not only our own lives and what's happened from doing it, but also one person experiencing this. I can see like you're one person, you don't have the data points on your side, it's just your one story. Mm-hmm. We have all of those data points from everyone that we talk to every day, and we still struggle with it. And so I don't like, it doesn't surprise me that one person with their own story, and often you don't believe in yourself the most, like, that doesn't surprise me. What does surprise you? What does surprise me is that we still have, like, doubt. And the thing about it is, like, it's understandable, too, because believing in this process and, like, what causes what and how this works, it requires a belief that's way more connected to Yahuwah, to the spiritual realm, to the emotional realm's connection to the spiritual realm, to the untangible and not tangible realms, which no one in the pain matrix, people are not only like not used to that realm, actively brainwashed against it, to believe wholly in the material, wholly in like everything that is against that. So it really presses up against your brainwashing, against your programming, to like accept how the world actually works and how Yahuwah actually runs things, because Yahuwah runs everything, even Satan's material realm. Like, so everything, it's difficult to acknowledge washing and the changes in your life means acknowledging that bigger picture and signs and symbols. Like, that kind of shit is difficult, it's why we don't like to really explain things to people and are more just like, why don't you just take the actions and see where your life leads you, and like learn to like listen to the communications you're getting about what changes and what they bring. And that can be difficult, and people want to deny things and like kind of look the other way, have their head in the sand. And so do we. It's a warm place for your head sometimes. You love the sand in the desert. Sand is hot. So that's like a broader example of how this process works. I think that ties into Reversal of Fortune because, I don't know, really, just the vibe. It's like... It's an addendum on last episode, that part. It's an addendum on last episode, and it's bringing us into this topic of how someone treats the people who give them or help them get to the things themselves and kind of like the roles of disrespect and ego in Reversals of Fortunes. So, like, I wanted to get more into specifics with our own.
What's the symbolism?
Oh no! What is the symbolism?
What is the symbolism?
Do I really not want to get into specifics with our own stories? Maybe that's it.
Yeah. Ooh. Specifics.
And also, I'm losing control because you're telling the way we set up the script. He's talking about me and I'm talking about him. And yeah, maybe I don't want to have someone else take the floor, take control of my narrative, my story.
Is that really me taking control of your narrative? Telling the story from my very limited point of view on what happened.
So wait.
Maybe I should get some peanuts and just
I
start
took a bite
shelling
of apple
them.
at the wrong time.
Let me start shelling some peanuts on this live. Sunflower seeds, spitting them out.
So, he's so shady. It's so easy for him to be shady to me, and he can't be 1 ounce of shady to a man. That's the problem.
Man, it's just, they're so innocent.
Yeah, his mom is every woman, by the way, and he hates his mom. It's really cool. So, like, our own stories about how in this army we've had a major point of growth that was like super we were super stubborn about, and we like kind of kicked and screamed throughout, and Wiko gave us orders, gave us pep talks, gave us information to help us through the thing. And then as soon as we decided to fully like, or even partially start listening to them, how that changed in our lives, our own lives, and us as people or whatever, the turning point. And then kind of how we not repaid, because it's not like they're asking for, well, they want to be paid. Like, this is an economy, so they should get something out of it. But like how we kind of used what they did for us after the fact. So, do you wanna go first?
I thought it's your turn. No?
I kind of want to eat some apple.
We're going on your
I feel like
schedule?
I just talked a lot, so I'm a little winded.
You're winded?
Yeah.
If you're winded, then what can I say? So what, we decided that we were going to talk about each other's problems in this live instead of talking about our own problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember back in the way when Mary came on board, that she could barely talk basically when she came. She had very much trouble stringing 2 sentences together. I remember her sentences would have like 4-second pauses between phrases. They were just like, it was very clear that she wasn't really communicating very effectively or efficiently or enjoyably. And obviously that's not the case now, because, you know, you can hear she's a lot better at communication, and she communicates quite a lot, but it took a while to get there. And she was in the beginning she was very nervous, always tried to hide, you know, make nothing about her. And any attention that was on her, she just like shirked. And I remember when like there was 3 girls here, you know, girls, young women of sorts were here. She was always the one like, I don't have any problems, I don't have a boyfriend, like, you guys just, you know, let the show be all about y'all.
Your big boy problems and your messiness.
I don't have any problems or messiness, I'm just hiding away in the corner. She was very avoiding the spotlight, avoiding any sort of attention or that she was a real breathing person.
Sometimes I'd literally fall asleep in a room full of people.
I know. It annoyed me quite a bit. I didn't really like you very much. I mean, deep down, I knew that we were soulmates. But just on a general, it was just, you were a little annoying. I was like, when is she gonna really get down to business? Like, when is it gonna happen? Pretty submissive in general when she showed up. Against her nature, submissive. Now she's an axe wielding uber bitch, who I love, by the way. Wonderful. I love you. You're wonderful. I wrote that, but I don't know. Axe wielding. I guess I just wanted to say that. She's a real battle axe, folks.
You enjoy that? Is it fun for you?
I guess. I don't know. Maybe this is me getting out a little bit of my frustration. Whatever. She's in charge now. You know, she can handle being in charge. She can handle being more of a dominant force. And she can talk, and she can express her feelings, and she can, like, get to the heart of the matter, and she's not always dancing around it. Just way more of a present person. When before, I feel like she was a little bit of a vacant person. A hungry ghost, we used to call her.
It is true. I learned the term hungry ghost from General Koa.
Exactly.
Because once she was in a car with me and a couple other people, it was clear.
And Wiko did most of the work, 96% of the work, to get her to... I mean, she did.
You have to do the work yourself to get there, but like
I'm just saying, I
wouldn't have done it without.
I maybe got like 4% helping her out, which I was her CO, but I didn't do the best job. There's whole video series about it. I'm sure that you can look into.
Did quite a poor job at
something. Then, so how did all of this happen? Well, they were the ones who separated us, took her out of my command, where I wasn't...
And his kind of brainwashing fog.
You just can't just let me do this. I know, it's hard. I'm sorry.
The control issues
can't
are
let go.
Flexing.
Can't let go. Have to just make me look like a bad person. And your thing. Talk about you. They, so getting her out of my... I guess, negative grasp, enabling behavior of her, you know, I was like, oh, she's, you know, okay. As a narcissist, being someone who, like, doesn't want any attention, I was like, perfect.
This will do nicely.
More for me. So they did that by separating us, which I took very hard. But I needed it too, as you'll see when she goes into my story. But they did that by separating us and giving her a bunch of personalized attention that she didn't necessarily ask for or want. I mean, and with her mouth, she wasn't like, give me more attention. She was like signaling that, but maybe not like saying, like, because she couldn't formulate it. But they gave her a lot of personal attention, and you weren't allowed to hide, really, were you?
No.
A little bit. Maybe into foods.
Yeah, I still hid in food.
I haven't even talked about food at all on this.
I know.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about food a little bit. Anyway, she was told to be more real. I have in the script told to be evil and mean, but I think I was...
that's what you think I was told to be.
Maybe just more real. And whatever that realness is for
I would say
the calculating woman.
My real nature is a little evil and a little mean. So that is more real for me.
Uber bitch with the dotted. I really just wanted to put the 2 dots over the U. The omelette?
Omelette.
I just wanted to put an omelet on that U. I obviously have a lot of respect for the Germans. And over time, she learned how to do that. Sometimes going a little overboard. Maybe not. Maybe that was just my perception of it. Maybe I just have... She went a little overboard a couple times about it. But as, you know, she's a faster learner than me. She's more of a better student. I'm not a great student. I learn by doing. I don't learn very much. That's not... I'm just saying, you have to put me in the icebox and then I like climb my way out. If you tell me something, I won't learn it. But if I have to go through it, I learn. That's why I dropped out of school. That's why I never got good grades. But I was, you know, pretty good. I learned how to do a bunch of stuff on my own just by doing it. A bunch of stuff. And yeah, she eventually learned. She started putting things in effect. And guess what? Happier ATM, better ATM, stronger ATM, faster. And she's better. And we're better. Her life is better. My life is better. Our life is better. Our unit is more effective. And that's how it went.
Wow.
What was your assessment on my review of you?
Pretty good. Better than the notes you took. And, you know,
Yeah.
enjoyed you talking about me for a time. It doesn't often happen.
Once in a while.
Like, actually talking about me, not just like, hello.
Love bombing
Peggy,
you.
hello. I'm gonna talk. These are both things we're talking about, like that are kind of from a while ago, because we have things that we're still kind of in the middle of, the like deeper core issues that we were able to get through because we got through this stuff first. But I'm gonna talk about his depression and kind of just like sad boy kind of lack of like initiative, specifically around talking to men in any kind of businessy or like doing the cult process, like context, yeah, not like calling up more bros to just talk about the latest video game or whatever.
I didn't even really do that very much.
Yeah, didn't. He was, when I first came here, he was depressed all the time. He had only been here a year. So he was still in the thick of things, and you know, like all his shit was about women. He was like, I'm a like a lover boy. Like I have all these women that like me, and everyone I talk to is women who I'm flirting with, and like it was very much, he was now a good boy who's starting to talk to a lot of women. That might be cute. That might be a new place for him. Refreshing. But for a bad boy day type who's a lover day type, and that's like... It's already been done. It's not where his growth is. So it was like, I got to come into the cult here when that was really going strong. And what made sense that was the timing, because I came and there were two other...
One other
trans
woman,
women,
two other trans women,
and then other women around, but not here IRL, who were all here because like they liked him, they came around, whatever. And I was kind of checked out of that whole side of things at that point. Cause
you liked me.
I know, but I wasn't pursuing it, and like I was like, no, too much. I just couldn't handle
his hands are full.
His hands were very full with real characters. So, I remember like being here a little bit longer that I started to get the culture, and I could understand that Wiz was constantly telling him, you just need to get on the phone and dial and talk to people. And it took like an entire pep talk, and then you could call maybe 3 people and you were like uncomfortable because this was talking to men, like calling up men, not like women who had a crush on you where it was easy. Like it was incredibly difficult, and it took a lot from Wiz and Koa to get him to do any of it at all. And then he would go back kind of into a stupor, be depressed, be sad. And that was kind of the vibe. There was a lot of other stuff going on, but just in context of like this problem with him, that was the vibe for the first couple years here. It got a little bit better because he was being forced into like growth by talking to people, making calls, getting shit figured out. And this is going into like abandonment, quote unquote, like from last episode, but he was consciously he was feeling abandoned because consciously Wiko was like, this is taking too long. He's like getting the problems were getting too large. His narcissism and the avoidance of certain things that he needed to do, they just weren't getting gotten to. And it was figured out, like, I wasn't in the room with the conversations with Wiko about it, but I, you know, through what happened and what I did hear from them, it's like he needs to be taken out of the direct attention that he is getting. It is spoiling him. It is not doing him good. He is not growing. He needs to go out on his own, like, man's journey. And it needs to be difficult for him. Like, he's only going to be motivated by things getting more difficult for him. Kind of almost feeling like forced into a corner vibes. That's very much what was required to get him over a certain hump. And so we did get separated. He went on his own. He was supported along the way in the ways that kept him safe. However, it was probably feeling super abandoned for a narcissist who was getting daily, concentrated, high-quality attention from a girl who liked him, that they were kind of dating. We're dating. And a Norwegian Ubermensch man, bro, that, like, was, like, you could talk to every day. And, you know, a black woman who you could you could resent and take from and whatever. Get
I wish we could like flash a picture of Wiz when it said Ubermensch.
I don't even know what Ubermensch means.
Ubermensch means like the ultimate male.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure, bro. So you were like getting all of that, and it was not doing much for you. So it was like, okay, we need to take. And you were on your own. It was difficult for you. You had to, you know, figure shit out. And that was when I finally saw, and I also changed how I dealt with you and how I interacted with you. And I took away a lot of attention. And lo and behold, what did I see? He started dialing all day. He started talking to men all day. He started talking to Orthodox men. Like, he started to dig into his Jewish roots. Now, he really dug, and there's problems along the way. And you can see all about them in other series of videos.
And also in the media.
But the thing was, he was becoming a guy who was not depressed and could talk to people and could cold call. He talked to people who were like, we're gonna do a $2 million commission oil deal with you. We're gonna have you run our private jets and like acquisition of jets. Like the kind of crazy calls that of course he eventually biffed and never came out of anything of. But like, who just starts randomly cold calling people and then gets like multiple deals in the millions of dollars sat in their lap and like talking to people who own private jet companies and like oil fields, and like, this is what happened when he just started dialing the phone every day. Not even in his integrity and not even fully doing what he was told to do. Just doing some of the things he was told to do. That's how much shit improved. And also, he will sometimes like reminisce and perhaps lament that there's not a lot of like bitches around being like, I love you. But like, from my side, there's no longer BPDE girls who are crazy getting through the perimeter as much. Now,
she doesn't like women. She wants them to be as far away as possible.
There may be some of that going on, and I may have my own rackets, but I'm just saying the type of attention that you were attracting before that stopped was nothing that was going to build a life for you or be like helpful to pleasure matrix expansion. People are great, but it's like what's done with that attention and what kind of attention and whatever.
If only she had like 6
That's something BPDE. That I would love. 6 BPDE girls, if you want to come around and bother me, that's great. That's a new territory for me. I'm not going to make it weird in the ways that he made it weird. I might make it weird, if you know what I mean. But,
yeah, get freaky.
But,
freaky.
So, like, he was getting attention from men in business, which is where it was supposed to be coming from, where Wiko had been telling him he actually wanted to get attention from all the time before this. And he did get more confidence. It was helpful rather than getting attention from women who were, like, crazy and just wanted to, like, sext. It was, oh my gosh, this feels good, right? Am I putting words in your mouth?
No.
So that's like, and also, like he was saying, the changes that happened, Wiko dragging us through and us finally making the changes, and then the things getting better and our life getting more stable, and that stability allowed us to get deeper into some of our more core issues For him, more about like his narcissism and attention addiction, money addiction, like.
And for her, cinnamon buns.
The fact that I literally only derived sweetness in my life and joy from sweets.
From cookies.
Cookie crisp. Yeah, no, he makes fun of it because it's like, that's your problem. If you're a white woman, it is your problem.
Reach out.
It is.
There's help for you.
Bewitched. Talk to me about it. It literally gives you worms for brains. You've lived on carbs and sugar your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
It
Gummy
impacts
worms
your life, your face, your ways, your witchy ways. Anyways, I digress. We're in the middle of a giant wall right now. We've talked about this wall on the series before.
At least we're in the middle of it now. We're not through
like,
the brick.
We're stuck in the middle of the wall, literally. And we only got there because we eventually listened to Wiko. And what do they get for it? Resentment.
Brand new car.
He hates them.
Yeah.
And I just like to be disrespectful in kind of glossing over their work in it, or where I got things from, telling my story with their attribution involved, or just like disrespecting them by like making them out to be, even if I'm not like doing it as consciously and overtly as him, making them out to be kind of like perpetrators and me a victim. So here we are, and that's like kind of everything.
That's episode 8. Is 8?
8 out of 12, yeah.
Getting there.
The only thing I was gonna add is that like the attitude we've kind of been mentioning here, our attitude going through this thing and going through the washing process, soul redemption, it's in different ways. Our attitudes have held us back. And we've talked about brands that we want to build here. You've heard about Bewitched from me. You've probably noticed that it hobbles along and has been quite inactive. I won't get into stuff that's not as public with him, but he has brands that have percolated and been on the burners of back. But the thing is, like, Master Sergeant unconsciously underreacts. He's salty about the past, very salty about the past still, holding on to a lot of resentments about Wiko, about this process, about this army. Me, I'm unconsciously always overreacting. I'm afraid of the future, so I'm constantly doing too much and coming from a place of fear and doubting things in the future will come to pass, or like that I can get where I need to get to. And those two things, in terms of our attitudes, are kind of why we're still stuck in this wall, like in the wall right now. Like, we can't go forward because that's too much of a chaotic world view or way of being to maintain a brand. Like, so that's why we're still struggling to really move DLA forward and do more. Instead of, like, we've stopped doing all the crazy shit most of the time, and we're getting better, and we've, like, figured a lot of shit out that we don't do anymore. We've come to some kind of stability, but we're stuck from going forward and building things that take more stability than we have.
Absolutely.
Anything to add?
No. I'm very glad that we set some of the records straight from last time on this video. I'm not even joking.
Okay, sometimes your tone is so odd. I really can't get inside that brain of yours and figure out if you're like totally facetiously super angry about something or like actually sincere.
Sometimes it's not that different for me between both of them. It can flip so quickly.
Yeah, it's wild. So, what do you want going forward?
What don't I want?
What don't you want going forward?
I don't want to, I guess, be stuck behind this wall or through the brick, in the middle of the brick. I have a great story about walking through walls, by the way. That's for another video. We're like inside the wall right now, which I've been before, based on this other story. And I don't want to be stuck there. I'd like to break on through to the other side, as military intelligence Jim Morrison once put it. That's what I don't want. I don't want to continue to be stuck and be like reliving these issues that we mentioned on this live, instead of getting to newer issues that life presents you by growing. And what don't you need going forward?
I don't need to keep disrespecting things, processes, people. I don't need these not small, I won't say small. I don't need these under the radar kind of digs and ways that I mess with stuff still from holding on to resentment or victimhood. I don't need resentment or victimhood. And I don't need like all this preoccupation with the future and being afraid of losing time or running out of time. I don't need to operate from that place, because operating from that place always wastes time and makes things take more time. So I just want to move through the wall too, like I really do. And I can, since I find things by looking into my past more so, I can look back into the past and notice all the times where it felt like I really was stuck and could never move forward, and that it would be impossible. And I'm in a totally different place now. So the past data points to this too shall pass, this wall. So
thanks for joining us, and we will see you when we see you.
See you for part 9.
9.
And make a wash of the leaf today. Links are always in the description here below. And you make a financial wash, which will then be followed by hearing from one of us to do a social wash, which is a little more, requires a little more information, a little one-on-one time. So try it out. See if you do the same pattern we described earlier in this video when doing it. And we'll talk to y'all later.